Okay, we'll give it just a minute. I think it might notify people.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Let me change our.
Okay, it looks like I might hear us. We'll give it just a minute. It's working. Perfect. Hi, everyone. We're just gonna wait for a couple more people to join. This is our first time on YouTube Live, so not quite sure how that works, but if it is notifying our followers, then hopefully they will start joining us, and we'll get started here in about 30 to 45 seconds. Very different than Facebook. Oh, and a huge delay. Okay, good to know. But I can see people popping on, which I wasn't sure if I'd be able to see on YouTube or not. So I'm glad that we can actually see that there's viewers out there. We're not talking into the abyss right now. But all right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our first expert conversations hosted on YouTube Live, where we have switched from Facebook Live over to YouTube since we typically upload these videos to YouTube afterwards. We figure why not start here in the first place instead of trying to cross over and everything. So thank you all for joining us. If we run into any technical difficulties, we are sorry. This is our first time, but so far I think that things are running well. This is our first Facebook Live or YouTube Live in a couple of months here as we took a break for this summer. So thank you for joining us today. As always, this will be recorded and now it will already be on YouTube. You won't have to wait for me to upload it, and you can always leave comments and email us afterwards if you aren't actually watching this live and you're watching the recording later. I'm very excited today to welcome Jeremy and Ilana Hamburgh from My Best Social Life, where they have been coaching neurodivergent adults since 2010. And we have a really good topic today. We actually get tons of comments and emails and questions about this topic, and I think that they are the perfect people to discuss it. So we're going to talk about finding and building your tribe today. And I'm going to hand it over to them and let the experts teach us something new today.
Awesome. So I'm Jeremy Hamburgh.
And I'm Ilana Hamburgh.
And first things first, we are super excited to be your YouTube guinea pig. So thank you, Samantha, and also to Paula Dennis and all the folks at the NVLD Project who made this possible. And we get to see whether or not the technology actually works like you hope it does. And we are excited to talk with you and whoever else has figured out the YouTube platform about the 5 practical steps that you can use as a neurodivergent adult or the parent or caregiver of a neurodivergent adult to find community, make friends, build fulfilling relationships. For the parents and the caregivers who have found their way to YouTube Live, you will see that the language that we use speaks directly to our attendees who are neurodivergent, because ultimately this presentation is really about them and their social lives. But we want you to know that the presentation is still for you because as parents and caregivers, you can help your son or daughter or loved one with the steps that we'll be talking about. So everyone who figured out how to get here and didn't go to Facebook accidentally, you're all in the right place, and we're going to get started. So what we're going to cover is an important how-to list for building a social life that can make you truly happy. So we are going to cover how to use your passions and interests to help you find new people who have real potential to be a part of your life, how to stop getting tongue-tied and having your mind go blank, because it is so frustrating when you power through your anxiety to meet someone new, but then it doesn't go the way that you wanted. We're also going to cover how to have deeper conversations that go beyond the dreaded small talk, because that is the key to sparking a real lasting connection. And we're going to talk about how to use your strengths to build self-confidence, because, and I love saying this, I say it a lot, all the strategy in the world means absolutely nothing if you don't actually go out and use it. So in short, this is all about how to be the most confident and courageous version of yourself so that you can find community, meet new people for friendship or dating or both, and ultimately start building new relationships because all of that is what makes life amazing. Before we go too much further, Samantha said a little bit about who we are, but we want to take a little moment to introduce ourselves. So, wife
Sure.
goes first.
Take it away. So as I said, I'm Ilana Hamburgh, and before I joined Jeremy in this work, I actually spent 16 years as a teacher in the New York City Department of Education, public school system, where I worked with students with special needs, and I loved helping my students reach their potential, especially those who may have been misunderstood or underestimated before. And back in early 2021, wow, that time has
Time
flown
flies.
by. Wow. Jeremy invited me to sit in on one of his client weekly community calls, and I never left.
No, you didn't.
You got stuck with me.
I'm stuck.
Sorry. And really, I saw something that I'd never seen before, a group of neurodivergent adults coming together to support each other, to celebrate their wins, and to really get each other. And it was something so special to me, and I knew I wanted to be part of it. So now I'm the director of education for the program, and I love it. I love what I do. I get to spend my days thinking about how to decode the social world and then recode it in a way that makes sense for the way our clients learn using formulas and diagrams and step-by-step instructions. So that's a little bit about my journey. Jeremy's is a little more interesting, I would say.
It's just different. It's different.
Different.
It's different. I am the founder of My Best Social Life, and our flagship program is Social Life 360. But my career started as a lawyer. I spent 7 years in the Chase Bank legal department, and 7 years before that as a criminal prosecutor in New York City, where I specialized in financial crime. And it was around the time that I was finishing law school that I started a social group for young adults in my area, and we'd get 100 or 200 people to our events. But they weren't really like connecting with each other. So my friends and some of the other people there started asking me, Jeremy, how do you walk into events by yourself and you walk out with a new friend or a date all the time? And my answer was honestly like, I have no idea. And they said, well, you have to figure it out. And so I spent the next 3 years reading everything that I could about what makes two people click, what makes two people spark a connection. And I combined all of that with the skills that I was developing as a young lawyer. After all, when you think about a criminal prosecutor, you think about, a Sam Waterston type, right? Someone who projects confidence and who asks good questions and tells a good story, right? Well, what I found over the years is that there isn't much difference between winning over a jury of 12 people and winning over one person in a social setting, because people just want to be around someone who is confident and interesting. And that's true in a courtroom, and that's true at a party, and that's true at a business meeting, right? So how did I end up working with autistic and neurodiverse adults? So after like 3 years of doing all this reading, a community center in New York City invited me to run workshops for people who feel awkward in social situations and want to be more confident. And my workshops were so popular that I got invited back again and again. But what I didn't know was that the community center was also home to 3 organizations that serve people with special needs. And a lot of the people who were coming to my workshops were actually autistic or neurodivergent. And they liked the workshops so much that these organizations actually started inviting me to do workshops for them too, which of course I did. And I ended up spending 3 years as the dating, friendship, and relationship coach for the adaptations program at the Silver Center for Diverse Abilities in New York City. And while I was there, something really, really cool happened. My workshops inspired an award-winning film. The movie was called Keep the Change, and it featured two autistic actors who were actually in my program, David Polanski and Samantha Elisifon. And it's a fictional story about them meeting at an autism support group and starting a romantic relationship. And well, it won Best Film at the Tribeca Film Festival, which is a huge, huge honor. And I'm proud that it all started with one of my workshops. And something like really important to remember is that the movie came out years before shows like Love on the Spectrum. So seeing neurodivergent people on screen dating was such a novelty back then. And I felt very strongly that it shouldn't be a novelty. Everybody should have the opportunity for friendship and for love. And so I dedicated my career to cracking the code to social success for people whose brains are wired differently. And I knew that my approach needed to be different because I was meeting all these neurodivergent people who had spent their lives going to social skills classes and social groups, and now they're adults and they still don't have the friends and the relationships that they want. So Ilana and I are proud that our Social Life 360 program is really like nothing else on the planet. We were super excited that we got to invite Samantha to join in one evening and see it. But we give our clients simple step-by-step strategies so that they can find community, become part of the fabric of that community, make new friends. For those people who are thinking about dating, how to spark that connection and attraction. And the secret sauce, what really makes us different from anything else you've ever seen before, is, as Ilana just said, we break down the skills and strategies into formulas and diagrams and processes and checklists and instructions, because our clients can absorb that so much better and so much faster. We also give our clients their own online community that spans the entire United States, and we even have clients in different parts of the world. And what's so amazing is that they chat with each other and they support each other all day long. And that's some kind of crazy hours of the night too, to be honest. And we're by our client's side every step along the way to coach them, to mentor them, to support them so they don't feel like they're doing this alone.
And when Jeremy says that we're by their side all the time, whenever they need it, he means on our wedding night, when I was getting out of my wedding dress, trying to at least, he was coaching our clients by messaging with them.
But in fairness, when you were having our daughter Mia and you were on the hospital gurney, you were also coaching clients, and I have pictures of that to prove it.
Okay, true story.
Yeah. So we do it because we love what we do and we love our clients. They're really like family to us, and we are deeply, deeply invested in our clients' success. So that's who we are. And our promise to you is that by the end of this discussion, training, YouTube Live, whatever you want to call it, you'll have a simple and effective roadmap that can empower you or your loved one to meet more people and do it with more confidence and maybe even faster than you thought possible. This slide makes Ilana and me so happy because we love these people so much. They are just a few of our incredible clients, and they are the reason why we get up every single day with a smile on our face. And the reason why we're sharing this with you is because you or someone you love can probably empathize with a lot of these people that you're seeing here on the screen. Because when they first met us, probably at a presentation very much like this one, they were struggling. Many of them were anxious about going into social situations, about being seen as different or weird, about being judged. Many of them felt isolated and alone because they didn't have the friends they wanted, or a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a romantic partner that they wanted, or a community that sparked their joy. They were frustrated because they were missing social cues. They felt misunderstood by the people around them, like people just didn't get them. They got rejected over and over and over again, and it took away their confidence, and it filled them with self-doubt. And they wanted more in their life, but a lot of them felt overwhelmed by how hard they thought it would be to fix what was going wrong. And so I would just ask you, like, whether those struggles sound familiar, because we're sure that many of you here, who are part of this YouTube Live tonight, know that feeling, have many of the same feelings, right? And maybe you can also empathize with this. Every one of our clients felt like they tried everything: social skills books, body language books, YouTube tutorials. They tried random meetup groups, online dating apps, right? They felt like they tried everything, but none of it worked. And what's worse, it made them feel like they would never have a social life that made them happy. And it affected them deeply. We hear from so many neurodivergent people that that's exactly why they just stay at home most of the time, hanging out in their rooms, scrolling on their phone, playing video games. They are not motivated anymore because they are sick and tired of trying and failing. And frankly, who can blame them? Who can blame you? right? That is why Ilana and I do what we do. And it's why we're so glad to be collaborating with the NVLD project and sparking this conversation, because it gives us incredible joy to show people that life doesn't need to stay that way, and that you can learn how to build a social life that makes you happy in a way that is more intuitive for the way that your mind is wired. So that's a little bit of background about who we are and why the steps that we're going to be talking about today are so important. These steps can really help you sharpen the skills that build deeper lifelong relationships, whether that's with a close friend or maybe someone who'll be your life partner. They can help you find community and become part of the fabric of a community that appreciates you and embraces you. They can help you build a circle of people that care about you and support you. And they can help you start building the confidence to walk into just about any social situation and be at ease, whether it's at a social event or a singles event, whether it's a family gathering or a party or a board game group or a meeting at work or a meeting at school. I am somebody whose job it is to talk to a lot of people. And I can say very personally that it is an unbelievable feeling when you know that you can communicate with power and purpose, and people are going to see the best version of who you are. And what's awesome is that when you bring the best version of you, you will be able to shine your light and your love on others so that it doesn't stay hidden and bottled up. So let's go through these 5 steps one at a time. The first step is to design your best social life, or help your loved one design their best social life. And that's really just a fancy way of saying, decide what you want your social life to look like and who you want to be in it. And so let's talk about that for a few moments. One of the most important questions like in life is, what do I want my friendships and relationships to be? Okay. And that is literally one of the first questions we ask everyone who comes to us. We have 2 wonderful colleagues, Cecile and Chantal. They lead our initial strategy sessions with families. And it's literally one of the first questions that they're going to ask you too, if you have a strategy session with us. And something interesting that we have found is that most people have not given much thought to it. We asked them what they want in their social life, and they pause for a minute to give them some thought and tell them what we hear.
Their answers are usually honestly pretty short. They'll say things like, I want someone nice, or I want people to hang out with, I want a boyfriend, I want a girlfriend.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we hear. And they're very real desires, but they're also pretty vague. And that vagueness is a problem, because how do you plan for building your social life when you don't really know who or what you're looking for? Okay. Think about that for a moment. Like, when you don't really know what you're looking for, you get stuck in a bad loop. Okay. No goal, no plan, no plan, no goal, and around, right? And that loop actually starts spiraling outwards, meaning it starts affecting other parts of your life, not just the social aspect. We have seen it cause real friction, even in families that are very tight knit and very close. Parents get frustrated because you spend a lot of time at home scrolling on your phone or playing video games, so they think that you're not interested in meeting people or making friends, and they can't understand why you don't follow through on the social opportunities that you do have, and all of that stresses them out as parents. And at the same time, you get frustrated too, because you know that your family wants you to have a fulfilling life, but you're sick and tired of trying and hearing about it from them. And maybe you don't see a path from the life that you want to have now to the life that you want. And maybe you find going out into the social world a bit anxiety inducing, because you don't know who to talk to or what to ask or what to say. And you can really end up feeling paralyzed and stuck and really not motivated anymore. And then the question becomes, how do I get unstuck? Okay, that's a big one, right? So that's what the first step is all about. It's all about getting unstuck. And you do that by creating a clear vision of what you want. In other words, designing your best social life, or helping your loved one design theirs. And so let's get concrete here for a moment. How do you create that clear vision and design your best social life? Well, you can start by blocking off a bit of time to do some deep thinking. And I mean it, like, turn off the TV, shut down the phone, just give yourself time and space to think. And then when you have that quiet, we want you to ask yourself a few basic questions like, am I looking for a community? What we call a tribe in the program, something that meets on a regular basis so that you always have something, fun to look forward to. Uh, am I looking for a close friend or a best friend? Someone that, you can call when you're having a great day or a terrible day. Am I looking for a small circle of friends who I can hang out with on the weekends, play video games, go to lunch, play Dungeons and Dragons, take a walk around the neighborhood? Am I looking for a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a romantic partner? Someone who will, watch a movie with you on the couch on a Friday night, or hold hands while you walk down the street, or share, your innermost thoughts, or celebrate the holidays together. Do you see how much more clear and concrete that is than just saying, oh, I want to meet someone nice? Okay. And that's important because once you've designed your best social life, then it's much, much simpler to design a strategy to make it reality. And keep in mind that social strategies are not one size fits all. Joining a tribe is a different strategy than being at a speed dating event, for example. Why? Because becoming part of the fabric of a community happens over the course of weeks and sometimes months. But something like speed dating is just the opposite. You go, it's one time, you do it, that's it, right? And it's actually the same thing with making friends and finding a date. They both require different strategies too. Friendship is all about building a bond over time. Dating is much more about making a good impression quickly. And then there's often flirting involved, which is its own riddle for neurodivergent people, but that'll be the next time we do an event with NVLD. We'll talk about flirting. Okay. It is completely understandable why going into social situations can be anxiety inducing for you. If you don't have concrete goals in mind, then you probably don't have a plan for what to do when you get there, which probably means that one of three things is happening. You prefer to stay home, and it's pretty easy to stay home, but it can definitely make you feel more lonely. Or you go into social situations, but you mostly stick to yourself. And we have a term for that. We call it being alone within a crowd, meaning you're there, you have people around you, but you still feel alone. And that's a horrible feeling. Or the third thing that can happen is you try to be social, you try to talk to people, but it doesn't work out. There's no spark, there's no connection. And then you feel dejected and rejected and like, why did I even try? And that's what happens so often. And it's frustrating. You want the feeling of connection, but if you don't really know what you're looking for or who you're looking for, and you don't have a plan for how to go out into the social world and get it, it can feel like a pipe dream. If you schedule a strategy session with Cecile or Chantal, part of the discussion will be helping you get some clarity about who you want in your life and what you want to do with them. And they're going to help you start thinking through that. We go even deeper with our clients. We help guide them through developing that vision step by step. But even if we don't end up working together, you can still do it. And let's get concrete here. So again, it starts by blocking off some time to do deep thinking, because this is not something you can do while the television is running in the background. But this time, we want you to be asking yourself, what are the inner critic voices in your head saying? Okay. Why? Because the inner critic voices in your head saying that you're not ready or you're not good enough or you're going to fail, those are the voices that are keeping you stuck. And then once you know what the inner critic thoughts are that are swirling around in your brain, then you need to do something about them, right? So we want you to start replacing those inner critic voices with more empowering beliefs. In the program, we call it powerful replacement beliefs. And they are so important because they help energize you, they help motivate you, they help shift your perspective on what you are capable of. The next thing you want to do then is some real thinking about what type of tribe you want, what type of friendships you want, what type of relationships you want. That's the clarity that we were talking about a few moments ago. Really go deep on what you want, build that vision, design that social life. And then once you have that clarity, then it's time to strategize. Then it's time to make that plan for making it happen. In Social Life 360, in our program, we lead our clients step by step into how to find your tribe, something that fits your interest, how to find events that spark your joy, how to find places maybe even where singles are getting together. It's exciting because there's There's excitement when you can see a clear path forward and a light at the end of what often feels like a very dark tunnel. But all of that starts with knowing what your social goals actually are, because then you can reverse engineer the strategies to make it happen. So that's the first step. The second step is finding those people, finding the people that you want in your life, and we call it finding your tribe. And it's all about being where the right people are getting together. When our team meets with a family for a strategy session, we always ask a big question. What is not working in your social life right now? Okay. And most people share that they don't know how to find people they'll enjoy. We hear a lot, where would I even go? And you know what happens when you don't have places to go. You spend a lot of time hanging out with your family because they fill the hole where friends should be. Or maybe you spend a lot of time in your room, which usually means a lot of time, playing video games and doom scrolling, on YouTube. It may be comforting to be at home or in your room or playing video games or scrolling through video, but that none of those things is getting you closer to the social life that you want. We call those things time vampires. Why? Because when you're sitting at home with your face buried in a screen, it's sucking up your time. And it means that you're not becoming part of a community or giving yourself the opportunity to meet your next friend or girlfriend or boyfriend or partner. Let's talk about the internet for a few minutes. Okay. I thought the internet would be the solution to loneliness for neurodiverse people. After all, there are 5 billion people on the internet, give or take. You don't need to think about body language. You have time to think about your questions and your answers. Sounds perfect, right? Lots of people, lots of time to think, no body language. What could be bad? Well, in reality, the internet has actually made loneliness worse for many people because you're sending countless messages to strangers, maybe on dating sites who ignore you or ghost you, or you're messaging with people through a gaming portal or a social media app or a Discord server. But those people never actually hang out with you in real life. They're just online acquaintances. Or worse, those strangers could actually be fraudsters. Okay. I spent 7 years as a criminal prosecutor in New York City, and I spent 7 years after that working on fraud cases for a major bank. And guess what I learned? I learned that people who are lonely are targeted for scams. Loneliness is one of the biggest factors in who gets targeted by criminals. Why? Because lonely people get excited when someone connects with them, and they want to believe that the attention that they're getting is real, and they don't want to believe that the attractive person sending them a DM, a direct message, is actually trying to ultimately scam them out of money. Scams aside, trying to find people online can actually be twice as hard as meeting people in person. And one reason is because the internet is full of what some people call hidden rules. Can you talk about that for a minute? I've done a lot of talking.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so there are hidden rules for everything, like writing your profile, choosing your photos, deciding who to message and what to say and how often. And then you have to ask them to go on a date.
You do.
And there are hidden rules for that too. And it's daunting and overwhelming.
Yeah. And the second problem is that, even if you master all the hidden rules of the internet, you still need the in-person skills to win someone over in real life. And that's just as true for platonic friendship as it is for dating.
Yeah, so think about that for a moment. You can spend years learning how to meet people online, but the only thing that it gets you is maybe a phone call, maybe a get together. And then what happens? You weren't working on those in-person skills, so you get anxious and you have no plan and it all falls apart.
Yeah, which is why we always say that the internet actually doubles the number of skills and strategies that you need to master, which means double the work, double the frustration. I don't like double the any of those things.
Work smarter, not harder.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. So the simpler way to meet real people in real life who pass the true friend test is to look for folks who are this, okay? They share at least one interest with you because friends need something to enjoy together, whether that's anime or hiking or Marvel movies or music or even video games. You accept each other because you deserve a friend who allows you to be your genuine self. And you both put in equal effort because you feel pretty horrible when the friendship is totally one-sided and you're the one doing all the work. If you ask us, There's nothing in the world quite like having true friends. So you're going to want to spend as much time as you can in the places where these types of people are getting together. And that's where a lot of your peers are getting stuck because they don't even know where to look. So they go to a bar or they join dating sites or they're chatting with strangers on a Discord server, and none of that makes them feel fulfilled. So why put in that time and effort? And that's why Ilana and I put so much focus in our program on helping our clients find a tribe that they'll love. And it's why Ilana and I created a really deep step-by-step process for our clients to help them find a variety of potential tribes in their area without getting completely overwhelmed by the search. And it's absolutely life-changing when you find a tribe and you become part of the fabric of a tribe that loves what you love. So that's the second step, which is finding your tribe. Once you know who you want in your life and you know where to go to find these people, then you need to be able to communicate in a way that's genuine and that sparks people's desire to be part of your life. And so the third step is what we call building your mental library. It's all about being prepared ahead of time with interesting things to talk about and interesting questions to ask so that you can have real conversations, deep conversations that spark a connection. And if you are a parent or a caregiver, you can absolutely help with this. Most people are not prepared for conversations. And it's a human thing. It doesn't matter how your brain is wired. It's not a neurodivergent thing. But for neurodivergent people, being unprepared causes anxiety because they're worried about being judged for being different or weird or saying the wrong thing. So they tend to deal with it one of two ways. Either they simply avoid talking to people, or they rely on scripts that someone has taught them along the way. Well, scripts are part of the problem because you're not going to walk up to someone, shake their hand, say, "Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm from New York. What's your name?" and think that's going to work. It doesn't. You know that. I know that because it feels unnatural. It feels awkward. It sounds robotic. And all of that makes you feel really self-conscious. And it's basically a mask that forces you to be someone that you're not. And it turns people off, especially neurotypical people, because neurotypical people don't handle awkward situations well. One of the things that Ilana and I are most proud of is that our clients don't need to make those choices, like the choice between avoiding people and relying on a script, because we teach our clients a better way. We teach our clients that there are 5 basic elements to a conversation, which we call the conversation equation. Came up with that in the middle of the night one night. And we help our clients use these 5 basic elements to build what we call a mental library. So let's get very concrete here. We encourage you to do the same thing. Use the 5 elements of the conversation equation to build your own mental library. So our clients have deep questions to get the conversation flowing. You can build deep questions too. Our clients have dynamic responses that are way more interesting than short factual answers. You can write dynamic responses too. They have emotional reactions to show they care. They can make future plans, which is just a fancy way of saying that they can learn how to ask someone to hang out with them or go on a date. And we also help our clients read and react to body language. There really is no substitute for having a mental library. Good questions, good answers, good stories. Those are the difference between having a good conversation and having something that sounds like an interview. And so let me say it a little bit differently, okay? You are unique. I know I don't know you. You're a stranger on YouTube, but you are unique. You've had all kinds of life experiences and challenges that you've overcome and great accomplishments. But when you can't convey that in words in an interesting way, nobody sticks around to get to know you, right? That is why having a mental library is so important. It helps you create a lasting impression on other people. And it's not a mask and it's not a script. It's all about communicating better as yourself because now you have a collection of great questions and great answers and great stories that you have prepared yourself and they are yours. Okay. And now you can go out into social situations and have a conversation in a way that is real and genuine and that has more flow. And what we see with our clients is that once they have a mental library, their personality can come shining through, and you can feel like you can talk to just about anybody without getting tongue-tied or your mind going blank. And that's what we want for you. Whether you build a mental library with Ilana and me, or with the help of a family member, or with somebody else, we want your personality and your confidence to come shining through. And so here is a real life example of just how much having a mental library can not only change a conversation, but can actually change a life. Okay. I'm going to need you for this.
Yeah.
This is a typical boring conversation that goes nowhere.
Where do you live?
I live in New York.
Oh, okay.
What about you?
I live in Jersey.
See the problem with that? The questions and the answers do nothing to drive an interesting conversation. The whole thing felt like an interview. Boring?
Boring.
Boring. Boring. But it's what happens a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. So how can we do better? Well, let's look at a conversation that uses mental library entries instead. So this is a snippet from a very real conversation that actually happened, okay? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in New Jersey. What about you?
I grew up on a little known street in Upper Manhattan, and something pretty cool is that 5 generations of my family have lived on that street going all the way back to 1940.
Oh, that's really cool. My dad is actually from Upper Manhattan. The neighborhood was called Washington Heights.
That little part about growing up on a street where 5 generations of my family have lived since 1940, that's an entry in my mental library. It is not a script. It's not a short factual answer, obviously. It's a little story about who I am, and it answers the question about where did I grow up in a way that's much more interesting than me just saying I'm from New York. I hope you would agree with that. And here's something really, really cool and really true. When Ilana and I first met, this was one of the first things that we talked about. And because I used my mental library, I used this dynamic response that I just shared with you, we quickly figured out that her dad and my dad were from the same neighborhood. They actually are 2 years apart. They went to the same high school and overlapped. And that created an instant spark of connection. And that connection grew into a friendship, which grew into a relationship. And now we're married and we have a little one named Mia. And it absolutely positively would not have happened if I hadn't used my mental library to make the conversation go deeper. A great conversation just takes some planning, okay? But here's the flip side. As my mentor likes to say, when you fail to have a plan, you are planning to fail. And that is the story of most people who come to us. They just don't have a plan and they don't have a mental library. And we'll bet that you know from your own experience what happens. You get nervous, you get anxious, then you start tripping over your words and you get tongue-tied and your mind is racing. And then sometimes your mind goes blank entirely. And the conversation falls apart fast because it has no flow and it just feels uncomfortable. And in the end, you go home alone again, no new friend, no date, no phone number, really nothing to show for your effort except more frustration. And that is why having a mental library can be so life-changing. And that's why in Social Life 360, in our program, we do put so much emphasis on our clients building their own personal mental library. It allows you to communicate as your best self, and it'll make it so much easier to go deeper with people. And that is the key to the metaphorical castle, right? That's the key that unlocks your best social life. So that's the third step. I said it right when we started. The best strategy in the world means absolutely nothing if you don't have the confidence to go out and use it. And that's what's happening to so many neurodivergent people. You get so bogged down in what you see as your weaknesses that you forget about your strengths. And when you forget about your strengths, it means that you are definitely not turning those strengths to your advantage. So that's the fourth step. It's what we like to call unleashing your superpowers. You have unique talents, you have unique gifts, you have unique strengths, just like all of our clients do. You have honesty and integrity and empathy and loyalty and creativity and tenacity, lots of things that end in Y. And what gets forgotten is that those strengths and many, many more that and in Y that I didn't think of right now are superpowers in waiting, but only if you turn them into superpowers. So to get really concrete and actionable here, how do you turn strengths into superpowers? This is what we teach our clients. It's 3 key steps. Number 1, identify your strengths: curiosity, persistence, kindness, fairness, humor. None of those end in Y. Whatever they are, list them all. But having a strength doesn't mean much if you don't use it. So the second thing to do in your plan is to figure out, how do I take advantage of those strengths? And you notice everything comes back to planning and preparation, right? So you plan for how to use it, and then you use that plan by, that's what unleashes your strength as a superpower in your social life. That's the action element. These three steps are the difference between having gifts that are hidden from the world and having superpowers that are changing your life. And not only that, but the life of everyone that you touch. And you will change lives, because the world is a really crazy, scary place right now. I don't even want to look at what the news is today. And there are countless people out there who, they just need your light and love, but they need you to make it happen. And that's exactly why this process is so transformational for our clients. It allows them to go out into the world and find the people who need them from a place of strength and with a sense of confidence. So that's the fourth step. The problem for most people is that they struggle to do it on their own. Having the roadmap is so important, but most people need more than just the right information to really truly be successful. So the last step is to seek out the guidance of great mentors. And it really doesn't matter if what you want is to find community or make new friends, or something totally different, like make your own film, learn how to cook, play basketball, whatever you want to accomplish in any part of your life. It is just easier when you're guided by a mentor. And so we want to just take a few minutes to talk about what mentorship looks like with us, because it's our purpose in life. So Ilana and I work with adults who are neurodivergent. Many of them are on the spectrum, a lot are not. Our program is called Social Life 360, and it's where we work with our clients on putting all the pieces together step by step. We teach them our social strategies, we help them stay motivated, we help them stay accountable for making progress, and we really help fix the bumps and the problems that pop up along the way. And we can do the same thing for you if you decide to join us. We'll give you our roadmap to friendship and community and dating life if that's what you want. We'll help you find your tribe, and we'll help you start building your mental library so that you can start sparking better conversations and connections. And all of that can help you go out into the world as the most confident version of yourself. Everything that we talked about today, by all means, you can do it on your own. You can do it with a family member. It's just that most people find it easier and faster to have a mentor by their side. And it's why I don't practice law anymore. It's why she's not a special ed teacher in the classroom anymore. We've just dedicated our careers to our clients because we love watching their lives transform. And, we do things totally different than anything you've probably ever seen or tried before. We designed Social Life 360 so that you have great trainings that you can watch anytime you want, whenever you want. They cover our strategies for being more confident, finding your tribe, making new friends. We'll mentor you privately. One thing Ilana does, we'll tell about it. It's really cool.
Yeah, I'll do mock dates, which are really fun. We record them so that you can see them for yourself, what you look like to another person. We'll do mock interviews. We'll help you craft your text messages and emails, and we also help with mental library, obviously.
And we'll bring you into our community all across the United States. And it starts with a strategy session. This is Cecile and Chantal. I mentioned them a few times before. They take the lead on our family strategy sessions. And so Ilana will help you find a 90-minute block of time with one of them, and they'll get to know you and your family. And they'll also help you get crystal clear about what your best social life looks like, who you want in it, basically giving you a head start on step one. And they'll help you figure out exactly what's getting you stuck, because Ilana and I want to know that whatever your social goals are, we can actually help you accomplish it. And if Cecile or Chantal is absolutely confident that we're the right fit for you, then they'll share everything that you need to know about Social Life 360 program and how to join us. There's no charge for the session. There's no catch. But it is a family call. We want to get to know your entire family. Your entire family does not need to be part of the program, but being part of that initial call, just having that family connection is so important to us. And this is how you schedule it: mybestsociallife.com/free session. And again, thanks a million, Samantha and everyone at the NVLD Project for having us.
Thank you.
Of course, that was a great presentation. Really love all of those strategies that you shared. And also just taking a look at their website for everybody that's watching. There are some videos, like video reviews from some people, and then also just some like testimonials on the site. So if you're kind of on the fence or not really sure, all those beautiful faces you saw at the beginning, you can actually find their written testimonies on the website, which is just good, kind of read someone else's words about how they feel about the program. So I think that was such a good presentation. We've had quite a few people just kind of having conversations in the chat. I don't know. Okay, I do have one question. How does an NVLD person figure out if people are interested without asking them? So I'm going to guess like in a broader sense of like maybe interested in having a conversation or being a friend without outright saying, "Do you want to be my friend?" is what I'm gaining from this question.
Yeah, I mean, let's start with the a more basic question, which is how do you tell if someone is interested in just talking to you and getting to know you? And so one of the things that we teach our clients, because one of the things that comes along with neurodivergence is often a really hard time understanding body language. And you can read like literally like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages about body language. And by the time you're done reading all those books, your brain is spinning. You're like, oh my God, like how do I keep track of all of that and actually have a conversation? And so we break it down for our clients into three things. Are they facing you? Are they looking at you? And are they engaging you in the conversation? And if all three of those things are happening, there's a very, very good chance that they are enjoying the conversation and they want to keep going. And that's where, by the way, the fifth part of the conversation equation comes in, which is future planning. Because what happens so often for people is they'll meet someone and they'll have a conversation with them, and then they don't ask for anything. They don't ask for a phone number. They don't ask to make plans, and they never see each other again. And you go home and you're like, oh man, what a wasted opportunity. So that is actually a really important part of our clients' mental library, because we don't want them coming home with regret that they put all this effort into like getting up the courage to talk with someone and it goes well. And then they're like, oh, bye. And then that's it. And they never see each other again.
Yeah. That's funny. That's good advice, though. I like those three questions to kind of ask yourself to see. It's a good baseline to kind of understand how the conversation's going. For anyone that wasn't on when we first started, this is being recorded. So even if you aren't catching it all live, you joined us in the middle, you can actually go back and watch from the very beginning. This will be still available on our YouTube page. So don't worry if you joined us a little bit later in the conversation, you can still view all of that afterwards. I don't see any other questions right now, but I do know that we're on a delay because I'm watching where currently it's being broadcast, which is your mental library. So we may have more questions that come in later. So what we'll do is we'll just both check the YouTube page within the next, 2 to 3 days or early next week and answer any other questions that may pop in there. If I see some in there that I can't answer, I'll send those over to Jeremy and Ilana for them to answer as they have time, because I know they're both very busy with all of these calls. And do take advantage of just checking out their website, see if you think it might be a good fit for you. I did join one of their community group sessions. It is incredibly empowering, those sessions. They're very encouraging and just really positive. And I think there was a lot of good that comes out of those weekly meetings. And I was only in one. So I can only imagine how it feels to have that group week after week and that kind of support there. I don't have anything else for today. Jeremy and Ilana, do you have any last words that you want to leave us with? Or what I used to do, and I haven't done this in a while, is I used to end with asking all of our experts and our guests, what is your one piece of advice that you would give to the NVLD community?
I guess I have to go with our program's mantra,
Okay.
which is sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. So every opportunity, whether it's social or anything else, use that as a learning opportunity and look at the wins. What did you gain from the experience? And how can you then even go and make it better next time? But there are no failures, there are no losses, there are just learning opportunities.
Great.
And I'll go with you can accomplish way more than what you think you can. And it starts by taking a single step. And it really helps to have someone by your side who is going to pump you up and knows what they're doing and smooth out the bumps in the road. Because my favorite thing about what we do is the emails that we get from clients all the time being like, I cannot believe what my life looks like right now.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it back then. And now this is what it is. And I'm like, we knew you had it in you.
Yeah. You just
So
need to take that first step, and I think it is good to have someone by your side to help guide you and encourage you, even when you're feeling like it's just easier not to get out there. I think having that mentor is such an important piece there. So awesome. Well, thank you both so much for taking your time, taking time out of your busy schedules to meet with us and have this conversation. I think it's such a good one. Like I said, we get asked about it all the time, so I can't wait to have this link ready to go to share with anybody that
awesome.
leaves a comment on Facebook or sends us an email. And again, for parents or people in the NVLD community, this conversation is just great for everybody. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I look forward to talking to you both soon.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thanks for having us.
I think I ended it on YouTube.